Welcome back, everybody. It's Winback, and today on this episode of Heroes of the Storm, I'm going to try to give you a bit of a beginner's guide for Qhira, who is very much not a beginner-friendly character. But, all that being said, Qhira is a melee assassin. She's a playmaker, kind of, so we'll try to help you figure it out. Team comps today are Ana, Qhira, Lunara, Li-Ming, Kel'Thuzad versus Karazim, who's super popular for some reason, Cassia, Sylvanas, Tracer, and Butcher. This is just a quick match, so please keep in mind that these are not going to be the greatest team comps in the universe or the greatest players in the universe, but we'll have to just make our way through it. You know, we're just gonna learn at our own pace. Ugh, oof, alright. So, as far as abilities go for Qhira, why is the camera looking so weird? Never mind. Our Q is called Carnage. This is a delayed ability. It doesn't have a wind-up delay, but once the ability goes out, it's going to go out, it's going to travel back, it's going to apply stacks of your passive to people that you hit, whether they're minions, heroes, objectives, camps, whatever. Just like that. See, it takes a little bit to actually complete its full animation. So, that being said, it is the best way to stack your passive up, which is going to be in your W rather than your trait. Your W is called Blood Rage, and what that is going to do is apply stacks of a passive bleed to a character who is going to take damage over time, the more stacks that they have, and then after you apply those stacks, you can hit the W again to activate the damage to get a small burst. So, ooh, getting cheeky. That is going to be applied by literally every part of your kit. Your Q does it, your auto attacks do it, your E does it, and your trait does it as well, your D key. So once they have 5, obviously they're going to take the most damage, and that's the most duration on the bleed. But there you have it, and it does heal you for the damage that you do as well. Heals Qhira for 96 per enemy hero affected. Damage and healing is increased by 50% for each additional stack on the hero. So the more stacks that you have on heroes, when you hit the activatable, means the more healing you are going to get back. Okay, that's a Karazim out of nowhere. I'm pretty sure Sylvanas is still dead here. We're just going to get some healing. There it is. Got her off screen. Perfect. Bleed, death, kill. Our E is going to be a revolving sweep. This is Qhira's best form of escape, best form of engage, best form of invulnerability. Literally her playmaking ability. It's the cornerstone of her entire kit. It makes her invulnerable for a very long time and applies her passive in the widest area if you have enemy people clumped up. And it's just going to be the ability that you need to use most often. The projectile on it does have a wind-up, so if you're not point blank on somebody, they're probably going to try to sidestep it. Hitting those E's at max range is going to be the most difficult part of Qhira, I think, because of that wind-up, and depending on which server that you play on, you may have some server delay as well. I don't know why there's a wind-up on it, but you know, whatever. That being said, your final ability for Qhira is going to be your trait, which is your D key. It's a grappling hook. There you can see it just flings us all the way across. Can we get in? Try to knock him into the root. Nailed it. We're gonna trade 1 for 1 there. Her grappling hook is the longest range ability that she has. It is her longest form of engage. Nice. And it is going to be her only real escape. You can cast your grappling hook while you're using your revolving sweep as well. I don't know that I actually do that in this game, but if you have your E on someone, you can throw your D, which is your grappling hook, to terrain, or another hero to Spider-Man yourself out of it. So, probably the best way to bait the enemy team, get everybody out of danger, or get yourself out of danger at the last second. I don't know why we're having such a hard time clearing the objective. but Kel'Thuzad does keep dying, so I mean that's kind of where we're at. We will talk about our ultimate choices once we get there. Okay, yeah. And fun thing to note about your revolving sweep is that you cannot use it on unstoppable targets. You can be cleansed, or the ability can be cleansed. So when the ability is cleansed, or when you use it on an unstoppable target, Qhira is just going to stop. The ability is not going to hit anything. She's not going to spin. If they're cleansed while she is spinning, she's just going to plop right wherever she was. We're actually going to lose the objective here. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. So just keep in mind when you are using your E, if the enemy team has a lot of unstoppable, if there is cleanse, if there is anything even remotely like a Johanna and her iron skin, you're gonna never want to use your E on that person. Unless you're very, 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 very certain that the ability is on cooldown. Oh, Sylvanas. Nope. Oh my god, with the tip. I didn't think that was gonna hit at all. But that's Qhira making plays. Qhira is by no means a top tier melee assassin, so keep that in mind when you are playing. She's not very good in the offlane. She's not she's not a very good duelist compared to other, you know, dueling offlaners. I think she has to be played in the 4-man, and even then I think you have to have a very specific team comp to make her work. Oh my god. Losing the Merc camp with level 10s, didn't pick his ult at the right time, and here we are. But that kind of leads us into our next point. Qhira's ult, well, the one that we're going to pick, anyway, for this game, is going to be Final Strike. I've never looked at the ability icon very much, but it's pretty fucking sad, I have to admit. But anyway, it's basically a long-range skill shot. It's got a wind-up. It's got a delay of 1 second, a full second wind-up on the ability, but it is going to do a huge chunk of damage in a line, and anybody below 50% health is going to take even more damage. Let's see, the damage is increased by 25%. So it's doing 608 damage to regular health characters. Or above 50%, I guess, and is going to be doing about 800 damage to characters below that, which is always going to be enough to get that kill, usually, typically, unless they're like right at 49%, you know. Trying to get in here to stop and peel a little bit. I'm going to die. That's unlucky. Really don't know why our Kel'Thuzad is trying to tank so much, but at the same time, also not real sure where the rest of our team is, since all of that is going on. It could be worse, I suppose. The objective, I mean, not the objective, but the game plan for Infernal Shrines is to have one character up in the top lane to soak by themselves, and then everybody else is supposed to rotate mid and bottom as a 4-man. That is how you generate the most pressure. That's how you generate the most kill potential. It's just the best way to soak experience and keep the enemy team behind. Everybody in Quick Match appears to have, you know, missed that class, so I'm just kind of like hoping that it'll make sense eventually. It's not League. You don't just sit in the lane for 20 minutes. You have to actually move around. But I've got two people up here right now. It looks like they are trying to soften up this fort for the next objective, and I do not like that. So if my team could rotate, I'd be really happy about that. Actually did that? I'd be really upset if you got that. I missed completely on my revolving sweep. Fuck. I still don't even have my level 1 quest done, but that does lead me into my talents. Damn, Sylvanas down. I was gonna help him get that kill, but he ain't even need it. So our level 1 talent is going to be Fatal Wounds. This is going to increase the duration of our passive from Blood Rage, which is the bleed. And then upon... Oh, he's got spell armor too. That's nasty. Missing a stationary target, really? unfortunate stuff there. We're going to get a big heal back, though, because we had our passive applied to multiple people there. But, yeah. And Li Ming is going to get the resets for cleanup. But anyway, back to the talents themselves. A level 1 talent, Fatal Wounds, like I said, you're going to increase the duration, which is the most important part, because that's going to give you a bigger window to get the heal back. But it's also going to do additional damage to enemies under 50% health. So a lot of Qhira's kit is about finishing people off, which is nice, but it's all kind of skill-based as well. You have to apply it with either your auto attacks or your abilities, most of which are kind of difficult to do that with. I did take upstage this go-round for the Cassia, the Kharazim, the Tracer, and the Butcher. Sylvanas' auto attacks aren't, you know, we'll see either. So having the evasion up for our passive is going to help us live a little bit longer in cases where we're just going to get run down by the Butcher or any of his cohorts. I got 7-sided out of that fucking sweep again. Really gotta stop trying to hit Kharazim with that ability. Kharazim, another character who's just going to unseat us from that revolving sweep by hitting an invincible button. Even though his is on a super huge cooldown, he put me right in the middle of his team, which really fucked up all of my shit. All of the shit. Huge combo kill from the Kel'Thuzad, though. Really picking it up. Loving how this is going. Still about a level ahead on the enemy team. Li Ming gonna get the Butcher killed pretty easy. I'm gonna go soak this as soon as I'm alive. There it is. But anyway, back to the talents. Upstage, now we're on to Healmonger. Healmonger is very important for this particular... Ooh, no, we're not on the 16 talent yet. Stop making me change. Healmonger is really important for this game, or this build, because once you are below, or when you have the damage on those enemy heroes below 50%, which is typically where Qhira has entered the fight, you're going to get massive heal value out of your active W button. So, when you're in those melee fights, when you're trying to get all that shit fucked up on the enemy team, you are going to heal and just kind of bait them into making a lot of really terrible decisions, making you kind of a tank, with your deception, your baiting. You get what I'm saying. Anyway, those two talents, level 1 and level 7, synergize so much that you kind of have to take them all the time together, or if you're going to be taking something else, you don't necessarily need to build them together. Healmonger, obviously, you can do it on its own, but it's always going to work better with the Fatal Wounds quest because of the duration increase. Final Strike, obviously we already went over all that. I think this is the better ult because it's a shorter cooldown, it's much more damage, just better at kind of doing what Qhira does. But Unrelenting Strikes does have a fair amount of utility to it, and it is going to be very, very good for you know, big team fights that have already started that you need to interrupt, but you know, big abilities like Mosh Pit or things that will interrupt you have already happened. So it's kind of that both of the ultimates end team fights, but in very different ways. So just keep that in mind. What's it called? Unrelenting Strikes is just going to... Ouch! Ooh. He had his ult too. He could have stopped me from swinging on him, but he didn't. He thought he was going to dash away. What a bitch. Oh god, that level 1 quest is still not done. I am super rusty on this character because I don't play her much these days. I don't think she is especially strong in most situations, but I do think she's probably got her moments, right? Anyway, to level 13, we are going to pick up the... Okay, let's... This should be... I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Perfect. He thought he was going to do some damage to me. We got the healing back. Kel'Thuzad gave us a helping zoning ultimate as well, which was enough to bait him into making the bad play, which was running away and getting himself destroyed by the final strike. Fantastic stuff. We got our quest completed as well, thank God. So, so long to do. But the 13 talent, the Hunted, if we auto-attack one person multiple times, it is going to do increased damage to that person, which is kind of where Qhira wants to be. A lot of her damage, I think, is better used on single targets in fights. The kind of contradiction to her kit is that, you know, you engage on a single person with your E, but you're going to hit multiple people with your E as well. You're going to hit multiple people with your Q. You're going to hit multiple people with your ult. But I think she's very good at singling people out. So, like, if Cassia was just out in the open, or Sylvanas is out in the open doing damage, we want to be running at them with our auto attacks, dealing most damage to them to keep them zoned from fights. So that's why that 13 talent makes the most sense to my brain. Booming Kick, I think, is extremely important for the character, but all three of these talents are very, very good. The reduction on armor is just going to make... Yeah, it's only 15. This is probably the weakest of the three, I think. But it is going to make the target that you hit, the focus target for your team, they die faster. Swing Life Away is going to be the one talent... Oh no! She blinked and I missed. How unfortunate. Swing Life Away, though, is going to recharge the cooldown of your E stupid fast, so you can have it up more often to essentially make more plays, save yourself more often, but you do have to hit it. So if you're just missing it all over the place, then you're kind of fucked. Booming Kick has the most value. I really wish you would have just let them get hit by that instead of whatever it was you did there. Anyway, big ult there, getting the 2 kills as they're trying to run away. Got the Kel'Thuzad combo as well. The Booming Kick was the reason that they were so controlled, essentially, because it is going to be taking the stun that you get from your E normally. It's going to increase it by 0.25 seconds, and it is going to make the E hit everybody in an area. So, if there's people clumped up on your E target, they are all going to... That was really weird. They are all going to... please stop. Are we gonna hit? No, we're not even gonna try to final strike him. That's unfortunate. But there you have it. That's a good use of using our grappling hook to get out of danger from the butcher, as well as our evasion. I mean, he can only hit so many auto attacks on us. Then again, I don't even know if I had the evasion up, because I would have had to hit 2 people to get the evasion. Anyway, obviously we escaped. That's all that matters. Oh, and then, like I said, Booming Kick is really your engage with Qhira. It's sad that it comes so late in the kit, but there you have it. And then at 20, if you've taken Final Strike, there's really no reason not to take Unleashed Potential. These other abilities are extremely good, but this is really, like, just... This is the pièce de résistance of the kit. If you kill someone with your ultimate, you are going to reset all of your cooldowns, including your ultimate. Yes. So you could technically, like, if you just kill one person at a time with your ultimate, you can reset it and continue killing people one at a time. It's really, really good. I want to try to get to Tracer to keep her off of the Kel'Thuzad. She ran away from me, which is fine, but I wanted to, like, whap her a few times, you know, with my level 13 talent. It's no big deal. She left. I didn't want her on the Kel'Thuzad to begin with, which is, you know, the whole game plan, but here we are. And I don't get to use my talent. And it's a little bit frustrating. It's just a little bit frustrating. Anyway, like I said, Qhira, not necessarily just with that talent either. Qhira is very good at kind of doing one-on-ones in team fights. So, if you have a squishy target like a Kel'Thuzad, or a Kael'thas, or a Jaina, or a Ming, or literally anybody else on our fucking team, you can, as Qhira, walk up to the character that is trying to kill them and fight. I think she is extremely good at peel in the... Oh man, Butcher he just hard gave up on. It's like, oh, well. Maybe he was typing to his team. Who knows? But anyway, Qhira has very, very good. It's I guess it's called, you would call it peel, but she's a deterrent to characters trying to engage on squishies. So that's kind of how you want to keep her in mind during team fights. She's going to clean team fights up real hard after everybody's fairly low, but as the fight is starting, as it's ongoing, you're going to need to use her to peel for the wee little babes. Oh my god! And ultimately, I mean, that all kind of carries into her power spikes anyway. The further she goes into the game, the more of a... just look, tipped that Cassia. Tracer go down. Tracer goes down too. I'm gonna get the Karazim on top of that, getting punched by the Punisher. That's just fantastic. That reset is so incredibly fucking strong, and it feels so good. So good. But anyway, what I was mentioning about Qhira's power spikes is that the further she goes into the game, the more that she can play kind of up. But until you get to that point, you want to play her in the back as kind of a bodyguard. So just remember that as you're going in. She's not a dedicated frontline like a Thrall or an Imperious or anything like that. She's going to be a backline assassin who eventually gets an engage, who is very good at cleaning up team fights, as long as she's hitting her skill shots. But we did it. There you have it. There are the stats. 10 and 3. Woohoo. Not super hot on the damage, though. I guess that's to be expected with these two. They kind of like shit damage, so... yeah. Here's the talents again. Fatal Wounds. We took upstage because of auto attack, auto attack, auto attack, auto attack, auto attack. Just everybody on the enemy team auto attacking. So you can also take the other talents at this tier. The armor on the auto attacks is extremely good as well. Healmonger obviously synergizes super well with Fatal Wounds, and it's the best part of healing with Qhira's kit. Final Strike at 10, The Hunted at 13, Booming Kick at 16, and Unleashed Potential at 20. As always, let me know what you think. Let me know if this guide helped you figure out how to play Qhira a little bit better in the comments if you so choose. And then feel free to like, subscribe, do whatever YouTube happiness that comes into your brain. Or don't. Free country, right? Free world, mostly? I don't know. Thanks for watching. I will see you tomorrow. We're going to try to crack down the Jaina beginner guide for everybody trying to get into the mage slot. So, see you then.